Genpei Tomaden is a side-scrolling hack-and-slash game produced by Namco, released in Japanese arcades in 1986. I remember that one actually, as it appeared on Namco Museum Volume 4 in North America under a different name, which I had for the Sony PlayStation. Among other ports, it made its way to the PC Engine where it was quite praised. A sequel was eventually released in 1992 for the PC Engine, but this time it hit North American TurboGrafx shores with the name Samurai Ghost. The evil shogun Yoritomo and his men have escaped into the dark side awaiting their resurrection. You play as a powerful samurai who has defeated them once before, and your goal is to stop them again. You must fight through 7 zones, eventually making your way to the heart of the dark side. Look, this must be serious. I mean, it's in capital letters. At the title screen, you'll notice there are no options available, so hitting run will kick things off. Okay. What's going on? Oh, this must be like an introductory sequence. Gotcha. Well, when the game actually begins, you'll notice multi-scrolling backgrounds right off the bat, and that will remain consistent. Your goal in each zone is to slash your way through various magical beings who are on the attack, eventually leaping over the red shrine gate at the end to progress. Unless you are in an area with 2 shrine gates, in that case, you will find some multiple paths to take. Your enemies include this guy, this thing, that thing, and frogs. Don't get me started on the frogs. You can move left and right with the control pad along with crouch by pressing down. If you hold up, you raise your sword at the ready. Button 2 thrusts and strikes with the sword, and button 1 jumps. It's pretty standard stuff, but there are quite a lot of attacks available to you. The variety of attacks is excellent here. There's just one problem. The timing of said attacks is extremely awkward. How you slash enemies varies based on their positioning, sure, but there are times you will just not make contact. The hit detection is sadly all over the place, and your marionette-like arm animation adds a bit of delay every single time. Oh, and there's good old knockback as well, and really no post-hit invincibility, so you'll basically be juggled around a lot. Anyway, dangling in the air, or after you destroy an enemy, is a power item, including various gold and health refills. In fact, the gold buys health items, so you definitely want to grab them. You also have spirit weapons which appear after cutting through the mystic flame. You have goodies like the sacred jewel protecting you from poison and even various special attacks. These power-ups seem to do a lot of damage and truthfully are way more fun to attack with than the standard sword. Sadly, they can only be used for a limited time. In each zone, there is some platforming involved. Luckily, unlike the attacks, the jumps themselves are spot on. You can reach platforms from farther than you'd think, which is good. But watch out for quicksand, crumbling platforms, and icy walkways. Aside from Zone 1, the game is quite long with many sub-levels. There is a mini-boss to defeat, and after doing so, you will be transported to a bonus level. Here you catch all different kinds of icons to help you power up, but it's not the easiest to do. For some reason, it reminds me of Kaboom. Now where's my paddle controller? At the end of a zone, you have a boss, and after defeating said boss, you are taken to a map showing your progression. You also get some words of encouragement? Don't be inattention? What? Still long way to go. Do you mean a long way to go? Be caution. Well, you're damn right I'll be caution. And that is essentially Samurai Ghost. It's a decent little action game with some below decent controls and hit detection. Oh, no. Those spikes are sure deadly. I guess I wasn't cautioned enough. As mentioned, the game has strong multi-scrolling backgrounds and as a whole looks great. There is some beautiful color and detail, and some minor graphical effects like rain and snow. If you fast forward a scene, you'll notice the sun and moon gliding across the sky. You also have large sprites. I have to admit, I like the look of this game a lot. The sounds aren't bad, with good musical tracks. Some of the sound effects are good, and some of them aren't. There is some spoken dialogue, but it's very scratchy, and I don't believe in English. The controls, well, we pretty much covered all of that before. The strange attacks and mechanics are a negative that many people acknowledge. Bummer. Your health is shown at the top via candles, and you can collect extra candles to increase the maximum number. After you defeat a sub-level, your health will remain, but if you retain under 4 candles, it'll bump you up to 4. When the candles all melt and you lose a life, you can hit run and keep moving. Doing this will start you at the beginning of the sub-level you left off. If you lose all lives, you can continue an unlimited amount of times from the beginning of the current zone. How a pity you are. Okay. Remaining lives are not shown except on these slates, so when you earn an extra life via points, listen for that indication sound and count the number in your head. Samurai Ghost is one of those games that really pains me to say I cannot recommend. I won't lie, there is a lot in this game I enjoy. Some of the attack rhythms were fun, the boss battles were quite cool, and some of their introductions were creative. The boss rush mixed itself up on subsequent plays, and little details like that weird face down there are a nice touch. But while the levels are long and some offer multiple paths, they're also quite unbalanced at times. The gameplay itself just doesn't match the positives, and that's a real shame. Oh, yeah. Did I mention those frogs? Some folks would probably give Samurai Ghost a 1 star out of 5 rating. I disagree with that. There is a lot of really good stuff in this turbo chip. Unfortunately, the weird controls and questionable gameplay keep it from being a recommend. And that, my friends, is the final Namco game we will be covering here on TurboViews. So until next time, remember, be caution.